What's up, everyone? I'm Scrambled Greg from Pigeons Playing Ping Pong, here to talk to you about my gear. Start with this beautiful Custom 24 PRS. I love Paul Reed Smith guitars. Been playing PRS for years and not gonna switch, I don't think, anytime soon. I love having 24 frets. It just, the way my mind works, it just is easy to go up the neck knowing that I have a full 12 frets to get all the way up to the high notes. And yeah, nothing crazy otherwise. I mean, came as is. I got 6 strings on here. I find that's most helpful for playing chords. I play rhythm, so I use all of them, but not at the same time. Little tip. My strings are D'Addario. They're 10 gauge strings and nothing crazy. You know, I'm not really a string snob. I've used these for years and they never steered me wrong. Very rarely break strings. And I dime my my knobs here to 10, but I often use the volume knob as like a sweep. So especially combined with like a delay and a wah. I'll show you over when we get to the board, but I love sweeping here, and I usually keep it on the rhythm setting. For me personally, I feel like it fits my band having that setup. I've got a beautiful Victoria Golden Melody amp here. It's a 212. I absolutely love this amp. I was playing a Fender Hot Rod for years, which is also fantastic, but as we toured more, I just found that I needed something a little more robust as the rooms got bigger and as the road got bumpier and more constant. This beautiful amp has been a godsend for me. I love the tremolo that comes with it. I usually keep the intensity about here and the speed there for a nice soft tremolo. He explained to me why this tremolo is different than others, but I'm not a huge gearhead. All I know is that it is super lush, and I have a foot switch over by the board so I can turn on the reverb, which I usually just keep on lightly, and then the tremolo, which is just absolutely gorgeous. Here's my pedal board. My favorite pedal is the wah. It's a Dunlop classic wah, Crybaby. You know, bread and butter for a funk band. I love playing on this thing, and I'll take that into, this is actually a custom clean boost from our buddy in Baltimore from Noise Kick FX. It's just a little, when I need a little oomph, if I'm combating the volume of other guys, but I don't want much grit, I can kick this on and that'll give me a little nudge. As far as grit goes, with all due respect to the classic tube screamer and other types of drives, I'm personally not a tube screamer guy, and I found my safe haven in this Hermida Zen Drive by Love Pedal. I love this pedal. This is actually new on my board. A friend of mine lent it to me for a gig, and I fell in love with it. It's gritty, but not too much. I'm just not like, I didn't grow up with like a punk or metal background, so I'm not like a huge overdrive guy like a lot of guitarists are, and this Zen Drive is absolutely perfect for me. Go over to a classic Phase 90. I love how this knob is here, so I can use my foot to crank it to like outer space noises or keep it kind of a cool slow phase, which jumps over to another fairly new pedal for me. This is a Source Audio C4 synth. It has crazy sounds. Like you could there's hundreds of options to program it to this. You can have 6 at once unless you get an additional foot switch. But what was crucial for me is not only does it do a lot of weird stuff, but I also found a really nice envelope filter, and I used to have a Qtron here, that like Jerry Garcia tone, but this has a great envelope filter that mimics that, so I get that and a whole slew of other fun toys to play with. A basic compressor here, the MXR Super Comp, just for sustain, and my other favorite pedal, possibly these two, my favorite pedals, the analog Ibanez DE7. They don't make them anymore, so whenever I see one pop up, I try to grab it so I have extras. You know, I love this pedal. This is what I grew up playing, and because we don't have a keyboardist, I often do a lot of like volume swells with my guitar and the wah and the analog, or the phaser and the analog delay, to make these like washy textural things. And when I do that, instead of playing right on the pickups on the guitar, I'll actually kind of play almost on the neck, so the attack is not as strong and heard through the pickups. And that all, with the combination of staying off the pickups, having an analog delay and some volume sweeps in the Y, it creates this really cool, like lush soundscape that doesn't even sound that much like a guitar. When I do want to be more precise with delay, I pop over to the Giga Delay, the DD20 by Boss. It's got a tap tempo, and it can, you know, there's four or five banks here to choose from, and I also leave this first bank on as a loop. So if I click this, I can lay a loop, and then I hold it and I can add more and more. And again, since we don't have a keyboardist, if I want to do some single note stuff while my other guitarist is doing single note stuff, sometimes, like I said earlier, I'll lay like a lush pad down with the delay, and that'll fill the space while I'm playing single note. And then just over here, this is connected to my amp. It's got vibrato and reverb at my disposal. This is also new. It's a vocal pedal by TC Helicon called a Voice Play Live or Live Play. I'm just scratching the surface with this thing, and it allows me to do a lot of really cool stuff. We did a Halloween theme this past year in 2021 called Daft Side of the Moon, which was a combination of Daft Punk, Pink Floyd, and our stuff all mixed and mashed together. So I got this vocal pedal to help me with some of that Daft Punk kind of robotic, auto-tuney type stuff to fool around with, but this thing can do so much, and I'm just scratching the surface with it. And this Hotshot by Radial allows me to send my microphone either to a normal, just clean, like voice, or I click this on and that activates this bad boy, and it gets real weird real quick. Microphone, I have a very intimate relationship with this thing. It's by Sennheiser. It's 935, and it sure does make my voice louder. So like I said, there's no keyboardist in our band, so sometimes I need to like fill out the space in a unique way. I'll use my DE7 analog delay. I'll often use the wah combined with a volume sweep on the guitar to do stuff like do that with the phaser, and I can also do this as a loop. So I don't remember what key I just did that in. What's cool about this too is if I still want to use the tap, if I go to the next bank over, the loop still goes, so I can tap in. But if I go to the next one, it'll shut off. And there's also some reverse right here too. Whatever I want to plug in there is great. And then I want to show this amazing vibrato from this Victoria. Pretty psychedelic. Victoria's from Chicago, and we're in Chicago right now, so thanks, Victoria. And you can hear all this gear and more on our new album coming out April 8th, 2022, called Perspective. I think it's awesome. It's funky. It's got peaks and valleys. It'll bring a rock vibe. It'll get a chill, like almost trip hop kind of vibe. There's guests on it. It's badass. Check it out.